Hello there, my dear. Happy day to you. I hope you are having the most fantastic day wherever it is that you find yourself. Welcome to another edition of our Coaching Corner here on YouTube. And I wanted us to dive into this topic today just with an open mind, maybe an open heart, to truly explore what may be real for you in under this umbrella of some identity work that we're going to do today. The topic we're going to cover is how high achieving women, high performing women quietly stop trusting themselves, and the identity work that's going to help you bring that back. That's what we're gonna dive into, and it's a topic that is top of heart for me. Identity work always is really heartfelt for me because I know what it takes to step outside of a belief that you have about who you are, what you're capable of, what is available to you, and what you deserve. My name is Sabrina Militello. Let me introduce myself first. I am a coach and founder of Empower Her Coaching, but most of all, I am a woman who has deeply struggled with her sense of self, who's deeply struggled with her relationship with herself, who has had to rewrite and reframe everything about what she believes to be possible for her in order to live the kind of life that I'm living today. So when I talk about identity work and really moving the needle in your life beyond some of the old stories or old beliefs that you have about who you are, trust me when I tell you it comes from not only a kind of academic understanding of what that takes from years of studying and being in this work, but truly from personal experience. And then so many hours worth of coaching calls with my clients, walking them through a lot of identity confronting things to help them rewrite the narrative in their lives too. So this is work that is profound for me, and it's also work that I just love getting into. So this is going to be an incredible conversation. I'm trying to find a comfortable angle on this seat that keeps swiveling, so excuse me while I try and figure that out. I think I got it. Okay, so I am, to give you a little bit of backstory, because I don't know how well you know my story. I came from a single parent household. We lived off of government benefits. We were one of the only Black families in a very white, affluent town. Legit lived on the wrong side of the tracks, the full kind of gambit. And everything that I saw in my immediate environment screamed lack. It screamed struggle. It screamed survival. There was nothing really in my upbringing, in my relationship with my mother, as well as in relationships with grown-ups, kind of parental figures in my family, as well as just in how I viewed my surroundings, that told me that I could ever be more than what I was seeing. Now, I had a lot of expectations on me being the firstborn, and the firstborn who was the only girl in my sibling relationship. There was a lot of expectations about what I was gonna do. I had to go to university. I had to be academic. I had to do well in school. Like, all of those things were an expectation, but the belief of what I could create for my life, there was nothing really there. There was nobody telling me that so much was possible, or I was smart, I was good, I was capable. There was none of that kind of messaging. So it was a confusing environment to live in, but it definitely wasn't one that pushed me to thrive and to believe that better could be possible for me. And I'm wondering if you can recognize maybe parts of your story in that too, of not having mentors or people that you looked up to, parents, family members, teachers, coaches, anything like that, who kind of breathed life into you. And if that is true for you, if that is real for you, I want you to consider how that has shaped how you view yourself and what you view yourself to be capable of, what you think your life can be. Consider just how that may have shaped it. And then I want you to think about the life that you're currently living, if it is everything that you desire. Not that there has to be anything wrong here, but you know, that quiet nudge that you get, that quiet knowing that you have, that you're like, wow, I'm meant for more. This is supposed to be more. I want you to listen to that and start to fan the flame of that and fuel that quiet belief. Because if it's there, it's meant for you. It's meant for you to listen to. It's meant for you to pursue and really go after that life that you can't stop thinking about. All right. So we're going to talk today about why or how you quietly stop trusting yourself and how to bring that back through some identity confronting work that we're going to dive into today. And really, the thing that I want you to understand is that self-trust is built, but then rebuilt, reshaped, reframed at the level of identity, not at the level of effort. And I'm wondering if you are somebody who has tried to effort your way to a better reality for yourself. You've tried to effort your way towards certain achievements or certain accolades or a certain standing, a certain title, a way in which people see you, perhaps. You've tried to effort, I call it white knuckling, your way into that. And I'm going to ask you a question that I ask a lot of my clients. They know me very, very well for this. How is that working for you? And I don't say that in a derogatory, kind of dismissive or judgmental way, but truly to help you understand that if it was all about effort, you would have everything you want, wouldn't you? Because you work hard. You work really hard. You take on things that other people are unwilling to. You are deep in the work of your personal growth and your healing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to this, right? You are somebody that other people can rely on. You carry the weight of a lot of people and roles that you have in your life, right? So if effort was the only thing, you'd be #nailing it right now, wouldn't you? So I present this to you again, that self-trust and so the success that you're wanting in life, because I really do believe that those two things are interconnected, is rebuilt at the level of identity, who you believe yourself to be, what you believe yourself to be capable and worthy of, not at the level of effort. All right? You don't get yours, everything that is meant for you, just because you try really, really hard. If that was true, it would have been true for you by now, right? You get yours. And I'm reading how I worded this when I wrote my little scratch notes here to keep me on task, because this is really important that you get this. You get yours by closing the gap between who you say you are and the small decisions that you make every day. Closing the gap between who you say you are and then the small decisions that you make every day. Because if you look at those two things, who you say you are, you're trustworthy, you're driven, you have integrity, you are somebody that other people can look to, other people can trust, you are there when called upon, you will always show up for other people. And then the small decisions that you're making every day, you emotionally eat, you self-abuse in various ways, you talk nasty stuff about yourself, your internal narrative is negative about yourself, you can't be trusted to keep promises that you make to yourself, you're always negotiating with yourself, procrastinating on the things that you say you want to do for yourself. You're rescheduling your joy and the things that bring you joy, the things that you know you want to build or create or do, because you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't believe that you can, right? There's a gap between those things, how you present, and then the small decisions that you make on a daily basis that you may not even think matter all that much. It doesn't matter that I didn't get up and do that workout today when I said that I would. It doesn't matter that I went home and drank that bottle of wine because my boss was pissing me off and then ate my weight in chocolate when I promised myself that I would be on point with my nutrition this week because I want to feel really good in my skin. It doesn't matter that I snapped at my husband when I made the commitment that I'm going to be patient and try and draw more connection from our relationship. It doesn't matter that, you know, that negative thing that's on a loop in my head about who I am, I'm not addressing that. It doesn't matter. It matters way more than you give it credit for, because all of those micro decisions, those small promises that you make to yourself that you break, and then the small decisions that you make that are actually moving you further away from the life that you want, they matter a whole lot. I really want you to get that, okay? And not from a place of, oh, I suck, I'm the worst person ever, I didn't realize I was doing this, so I'm the worst. No, we never come from that perspective. I want you to come from a perspective of, there is space for me to grow. The more awareness I can cultivate around these things, then the more I can shrug off some of the things that are not serving me in the direction that I want my life to be headed in. Okay, so I'm going to break this down into 3 kind of pathways for you to think about when it comes to the how your self-trust is rebuilt at this level of identity, the identity work that needs to be done to move this forward so that you can stop that cycle of quiet mistrust, right? Of not being able to believe in what you say that you're going to do. Because here's the thing, right? And I'm going to give you an example of something super practical that you may not have even considered is an issue for you. There may be an opportunity in front of you. Maybe it's to work with a coach. Maybe it's to get a mentor. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's an opportunity to go back to school and reskill. Maybe there's something in front of you where you have the opportunity to build a business, build a personal brand, start something of your own. Maybe it's just taking a course, something simple. But because you lack self-trust, you don't trust that the money that you'll spend on that, or the time that is required, or the effort that that's going to take to fulfill, you don't trust that you're going to give those things, and so you won't sign up for the thing, hire the person, invest in the thing, go and have, apply for the promotion, go and start working on that business. You won't go and do those things. And it ultimately, at the root of it, is that you don't trust yourself. Can you see how impactful that is? And I'm sure if you look at it, if you're willing to look at it, there's multiple places in your life where that shows up like that for you, where you're not going out there to do the thing, hire the coach, invest in the mentor, invest in the class, go back to school, go for that promotion, start the business. You're not doing those things because you don't trust that you can achieve the goal, the ultimate thing that you're working towards at the end of it. You don't trust that you'll show up and do the work. You don't trust that you'll give the effort required. You don't trust that you'll get your money's worth. You don't trust yourself to follow through. And so you don't do the things. And because you don't do the things, you're living an existence that is less than the one that you desire. This is big stuff. It's not that it doesn't matter if I do. It matters a lot. It matters a lot. All right. So let's talk through these three pathways. There's a cost. That's the pathway number 1, is recognizing the cost of broken self-trust. It's quietly costing you something. All of those applications that open in the tab on your computer that you haven't filled out, the email that is sitting in your drafts that you're working up the courage to send, the meeting that you keep rescheduling because you're too nervous to actually ask for what you're worth, the business application that you're putting off because it's not the right time. All of those things that are sitting there waiting for you to take action on, they're costing you something. And I alluded to this just now, right? In that conversation, it's costing you the future that you desire. Yes, there's work involved, of course. Yes, there's effort involved, of course. Yes, there's an investment of time, money, energy, of course. But what is it costing you ultimately to not make that investment now? To not do the scary thing, to not put yourself out there, to not bet on yourself and root for yourself. What is it costing you? I'd really like it if you would sit with that question. Maybe pause this video and journal on that a little bit. Get clear about it. Get clear about what it's costing you. Because the longer you stay in this fog of misunderstanding, which is what I like to call that lie that we tell ourselves that it doesn't matter. It's the fog of misunderstanding because it matters profoundly. So I want you to identify the cost of you continuing to break your trust in yourself, you continuing to procrastinate, negotiate, put off. What's it costing you? That's pathway number one. Pathway number two is recognizing the identity that's tied to these decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis. All right, because we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, I believe, that your brain is always going to defend the identity you currently are attached to. Your brain is always going to defend the identity you're currently attached to. So when you keep a promise to yourself, or when you break a promise to yourself, it's not willpower that is in operation there, right? When you keep a promise to yourself, it's not willpower exerting itself and saying, yes, I've got willpower, I'm crushing it. When you break a promise to yourself, it's not, oh, I haven't got any willpower, I suck. It's not willpower that is at play. When you keep a promise to yourself, or when you break a promise to yourself, you're stacking evidence that's updating that cognitive understanding of who you are. You're stacking evidence that is updating your understanding of who you are. So when you break a promise, you're providing evidence to your brain that is keeping you aligned with who you believe you are, right? You're providing evidence that you are the person that cannot be trusted to make that decision, to do that thing, to follow through on that thing, right? When you do keep the promise, when you follow through on the thing, when willpower shows up, you're providing evidence for your brain to say, she is that girl. She is her. She is showing up in that way. She is capable. She can be trusted. Can you see how that works? So every single time you make these decisions, and don't like misunderstand me. I'm not saying that any of us have to be perfect with any of this stuff. Some days you're going to want to Netflix and chill with your weight in chocolate. That's absolutely fine. Get on with your bad self, do that, right? But when it happens as a consistent action, when it is not aligned with ultimately where you say you want your life to be and where you dream of your life being, when these actions are out of alignment with that, and you continue to, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, engage in those, that's when it's problematic. Can you understand what I'm saying? So remember, your brain is designed to defend the identity you're currently attached to, and it does that by stacking evidence that reinforces that belief. So if you want to believe that you are somebody who can achieve really big, bold things, who can operate through really hard obstacles, who can keep her word, who keeps her word to herself. When she says she's going to do something, she freaking does it. If you want to be her, you have to provide your brain evidence that you are her, which means you have to go and do those things. Like, it's so incredibly simple that it sounds ridiculous. You have to go and do those things. There really is no other way. There's no hack, there's no workaround, there's no quicker trick to it. If you want to rebuild your trust in yourself, you want to build confidence, you want to build competence, you want to start being that version of yourself, you have to start doing the things that that version of yourself does, which means any second, any moment of any day, you can snap your fingers and make your decisions differently. It can happen at any time with one simple choice. And the choice is, I'm going to start acting like the woman I want to be, rather than staying stuck in the patterns of the woman that that identity is no longer serving me. So that's the identity pathway. So we talked about the cost, right? I want you to get clear on what it's costing you to continue the way that you've been going. And then we talked about the identity pathway, how your brain is designed to defend who you believe yourself to be. The final path is what closing the gap actually looks like. We talked about how there's a gap between who you say you are and then the small decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis, right? Closing the gap looks like small decisions in sequence made over and over again. Not some kind of big personality overhaul that you decide one day, like, I'm a completely different human. It's made in the small choices. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well. Could it be as simple as starting to do the opposite of what you once did? So you're presented with a particular situation, a particular circumstance. Could it be as simple as, when you're presented with that choice in the moment of this behavior or this behavior in response to this situation, you start to do the opposite of what you once did? My argument is yes, it could be as simple as that. Remember, I said that in any given moment, at any given time, you can decide that I'm going to start behaving differently. I'm going to start deciding differently. I'm going to start taking different actions. A great place to begin with that is when you're faced with a situation that you would usually trigger a behavior that is not aligned with that version of yourself that you want to be, with the life that you want to live. You start doing the opposite of what you would usually do in that situation. Because surely, if the decisions you were once making sent you over here, the life you want to live is right here. The decisions you were once making sent you over here. If you were going to do the opposite, they would send you right here, right? So consider that. What closing the gap actually looks like is a sequence of small decisions made over and over and over again, not some big personality overhaul where you have to go to eat and pray love kind of path, where you have to go and decide, I'm going to move to a different city and start a different job and a different career, and I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to cut bangs in my hair. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, that's not what it takes. Simple, small decisions made in sequence is how this works. So we talked about what it's really costing you. We talked about the identity that you have to adopt, and very simply how your brain processes the information, right? Then we talked about what closing that gap actually looks like. And the thing that I really want you to take away from this conversation today is just the power of self-awareness. When you truly understand that everything you want is on the other side of you keeping the promises you make to yourself, everything in your life can be different very, very quickly. Keep the promises you make to yourself, then everything in your life can be very, very different very, very quickly. Self-trust is at the root of all of this. I will die on that sword by telling you that it's not enough for you to have the intention and to effort your way towards the life that you want. What really needs to occur is that you have to start seeing yourself differently. And the way you do that is by building and rebuilding, reframing the trust you have with your word. Integrity is at the core of all of this, because in order to have the successes that you want, to build the life that you want, you have to start being the woman who can rely on herself keeping her word to herself. I hope this served you. I hope it gave you some nuggets to think about, some practical things to apply. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. So you can comment below, you can send me a message and we can talk about it. You'll find a link in the comment in the caption here, and that's the application to my one-on-one coaching experience. Feel free to click on that, have a look through that. It's something that I have open right now, the availability or the possibility of us working together one-on-one through a 12-week process to help you build this identity piece into your life, so that you're no longer the person that's like, if only I could. You are the woman that goes out there and does it. All right, give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I would love that. Maybe share this with somebody that you think would get something out of it. And until next time, take care.